What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Vlogcast. It's a video, it's a podcast, it's a vlogcast.
It's everything.
It's everything. It's called The Process. You know, songs can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 years to make, and you guys probably listen to them within 3 minutes or less. But surrounding every good song is usually a great story to tell. And Social Beingz, The Process, is our vlogcast where we open the door up into our debut album, Social Mania.
Social Mania.
We're going to talk about the process or the process, however you say it, whether you're
Process.
UK or whether you're USA.
It's a process.
Thank you.
How we wrote the songs. We're going to talk about lyrics. We're going to talk about the stories surrounding the music. So to my left,
Hey.
we have a man who's very dear to our hearts.
Woo.
This is Mr. Joel Atkins.
I'm going to give him a clap.
Yeah. Joel
everybody.
has been doing music for over 20 years, produced for dozens of people. I've been to his house. I've seen the albums on the wall. He produced projects for other people as well as himself. His latest solo project is called Fourth Man. He is amazing,
It's
insane,
amazing.
incredible.
Check it out.
We've known Joel loosely for 10 years.
Yeah,
Joel played guitar at my wedding.
this is true.
But he's
wow.
been our sound engineer and occasional drummer for about 3 years now. Probably one of the people who knows us best and closest to, if there was such thing as an inner circle for Social Beingz, Joel is in it.
Yes.
And so I think he'll
He's in.
bring that perspective to this vlogcast. And yeah, I'm Ryan, one half of Social Beingz. If you don't know me, what's up? Nice to meet you. Welcome.
I know you.
You know me very well.
And I'm Josh, one half of Social Beingz.
The other half.
The other half, you may say. The
He's
better half,
He's
you
the
may say.
jawline.
The jawline of the
He's-
group.
I'm the hat, he's the hair.
Strong.
I'm the hat, he's the hair.
There you go.
This is I forget where we got asked that, but that was it. Yeah, so we're not going to break down every song to the album, but we're going to do a few. And we're basically going to do it in 3 stages. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about the process. We're going to break down some of the lyrics. And then we're going to go for the record. Anything that needs to be said that hasn't yet been covered in those 2. We're going to lay it all out there. So we're going to kick it off with
Yeah.
Rollie.
Woo!
Let's talk about the process
Rollie.
of
Mm.
Rollie.
Big tune.
Where did we start writing that?
So it was definitely a big influence, and I'm pretty sure it was 100% started with a guy called Josh Grimmett.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Josh. He's one of our good friends. He's got a big song out at the moment that's smashing the world.
One third of Good Boys.
Yeah. This song's called Piece of Your Heart. But we've worked with Josh for a long time.
Mm,
The first record we worked on him with was called What You Got,
that's
from
right.
back in the day when we were 1224.
Mhm.
He's even singing on that, and he's singing on Rollie too in the middle 8. But we started it off with him. It was
Yeah.
just like a 4-bar loop of a beat.
Yeah. I think we went down for a session with him to work on something else.
We did like 3 tracks.
We did 3 tracks in that day, and
that beat was just
Rollie
one of
was
them.
one of them. I don't think we wrote anything to it there.
No,
No.
because we would mainly doing Be Okay.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah. So that session we did Be Okay and Rollie and another track which we still
Yeah.
haven't finished. Then we came back up to Manchester.
Exclusive.
And I think we sat in the studio for about an hour trying to write a hook to it and couldn't come up with anything. And I was eavesdropping on some of Josh's melodies and heard something that sounded like Teenage Dirtbag. I was like, ooh, we should write something that... So he was coming up with a melody that sounded like Teenage Dirtbag. And I was coming up with a melody that sounded like Teenage Dirtbag, thinking,
Wow.
he didn't realize that he sang a thing that
He
sounded like
didn't
Teenage
know what he
Dirtbag. and then I couldn't come up with anything good, so I was like, "Oh, bro, it sounds like Teenage Dirtbag." And he's like, "I know." So I'm trying to like lean down that road.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out whether it was too Teenage Dirtbag
Okay.
or
yeah.
whether it was just enough.
Whether it's inspired by or whether it's a court case.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Joel is here with us today for the band.
He's actually one of the funniest people we know.
But yeah, we were trying to think, was it too close to the
Yeah.
line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we don't.
That's important.
I
Yeah.
love having something that gives you the same essence and vibe of, and I don't mind it even sounding a little bit like it, but there is a difference between borrowing and taking.
Yeah.
And
I kind of just put myself in the shoes of like what if somebody did that to me, where would I be like, wow, that's sick?
Yeah.
And
Oh, I see that
hey,
I influenced you.
that's my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that you guys are talking about it is a major part
Yeah.
of it anyway,
Yeah,
because you're not like you weren't
Oh,
like
no,
trying to like
it's
do it
not-
on the
no,
sly. It wasn't
no.
like
Oh no, somebody's found it.
wasn't
Yeah,
someone
that's
might
true.
find out. 'cause
I came
obviously-
up with that myself.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
everyone's heard of Teenage Dirtbag.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's a classic. So, who doesn't want to be influenced by classics?
My dad heard it and said that sounds like Teenage Dirtbag.
Sick.
Wicked. I didn't know
Great.
that.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's a
Good,
true
right.
story.
Bringing them all in. I think we had. I got a car. Let's drive now, baby. Head for the hills.
Maybe.
Head for the hills, and that was it.
I definitely remember.
And then
that
then
got a
I
car.
think I was I think we had I got a
Mm.
car and maybe Head for the Hills. Or I
Yeah.
think I kept singing Head for the Hills and Josh wasn't too sold on it yet. And then I'd come up with the whole rest of the chorus, recorded it with this laptop mic, pitched it up to like the kind of Alvin and the Chipmunks thing, and then got another part of the hook in the airport, which I think I actually have the airport version right here.
Are you rolling, 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 rolling with me? Are you rolling, 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 rolling with me?
Wow.
Are you rolling?
I forget where we were traveling to.
Rolling with me?
But I knew
Probably somewhere.
once I had this, I recorded it and played it for Josh, and he was like, I could see something clicking in his
Oh.
head.
Yeah, because I was just about to say it didn't click for me until the Rollie.
yeah,
Like the Head for the Hills and stuff like that. I was like, I don't
okay,
fully get it.
okay, whatever.
The chipmunk thing helped because we did the pitch up thing helped because we did that on Memories with you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, we've got, because I don't always like to make one tune that's completely different from everything you've done.
You
I
kind
I
of
always
want to
like
have
to
some
have, like-
continuity.
Yeah, some continuity. So when you did that, I was like, yeah. But the Rollie thing was, because we wanted to have Rollie in a song for
Yeah.
a while,
Yeah.
because we had this like, that idea of Rollie, like kind of thing.
Rollie.
But it was like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then when you did that, I was sold.
Yeah.
I was in. I was
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be a banger.
Yeah,
I was like, I love it.
It's funny because Josh's face. I'll say the thing that's on my mind. Josh's face will say the thing that's on
Oh,
his
yeah.
mind. If it's like, if he doesn't like something or he doesn't
This
get
is
it,
true.
it's like, yeah. But his face is like,
I'm so unaware of
not
that as well.
sure.
That's so
I'm
funny.
so unaware of that.
It's-
That's oh man.
it is-
I don't think I could even control that even
no,
if I
no,
tried.
no, I
Don't control it because it
I don't-
works.
I don't think so.
Stop trying to
So
control
then,
me.
so then,
Let me just away.
then
There you go.
I recorded in back at the house when I knew, okay, to go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Josh is liking the idea. I recorded chorus and I did a verse, and it's so different to the original. It was like way more. I'll play it. Way more
Yeah.
mellow, melancholy. And then my verse even is it's so like it's like so different to. So we were thinking, oh, like this is cool. This is like a chilled like California
were
surfer
thinking chill.
vibe. And then the second session with Josh Grimmett happened, which
It almost didn't happen.
it almost didn't happen. We were at
Were you with us?
no,
I don't know.
John Reese was on the gig.
John,
Yeah.
Reese.
So basically, we did a
Reese,
gig at
shout out to
Manchester.
John
We did a gig at Manchester Arena called Festival of Praise with,
Oh, yeah.
with some good friends from us from a church in Manchester. They rent out the arena. It's a crazy event. Like
Yeah,
people
it's
going
nuts.
wild for it, and we're like the only white people there. It's brilliant.
Us in Hillsong,
Yeah,
London.
but Josh was there with Hillsong London, and he had messaged me that week being like, "Oh, we should do a session
yeah.
late at night," which I kind of had this romantic idea.
He
of,
always,
like,
he always does like.
this is gonna be
You're thinking
amazing.
candles.
Like,
You're thinking candles.
but
no,
I
he
always
was
forget-
thinking like
No. I was thinking
we're gonna write a hit.
we're gonna write a hit because it's 1 a.m. and
It's
it's,
like-
it's Bad Boy.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot that out of the three of us, I'm the biggest lightweight in terms of sleep.
Yeah.
Like I will conk out at 10:30. These two will talk till 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we
True.
get to
Then I'll
Ryan's.
play some random video.
And then
Yeah.
have a coffee.
Oh.
Too many stories.
Too many stories.
But yeah, like we got to Ryan's car. Ryan opened up his boot.
And then
Everybody put stuff
I
in
went
it.
to go have a wee over in the
In the
oh,
bushes.
in the bushes, and I hear somebody close the boot.
Josh closed the boot.
Josh closed the boot. He
Yeah,
thinking he was being not this
Oh,
Josh, other
oh,
Josh,
no.
thinking he was being like,
I don't even-
ah,
And as soon
great.
as it closed, in my head, I was like, I bet Ryan put the keys in the boot.
I
And
had taken my bag off, and in my pocket, the keys fell out of my pocket into the
Oh, they fell out.
they fell out into the trunk.
I always thought
Oh,
you
you
put
didn't
them
even
in
put
there.
them
I
in
didn't
there.
even put them
Okay.
there, and I saw these because my doors lock automatically when you close the trunk. It
Oh,
locks
no.
automatically, so it locks. It's like 11:50 at this point.
Yeah, it was late
'Cause-
because we had to
'cause-
stay to
Where
do
were you?
merch.
Outside the arena?
We were literally just
Near Strangeway, so around the corner.
Right,
right,
yeah.
But we had to stay late to do merch.
So I was literally like, "Session's over.
We're not doing it.
I'm gonna get a train, and then so
Get
we
the car tomorrow.
so we lose the keys. Then we're like, okay, we'll take an Uber to my house. We take an Uber to my house. I have to wake up my wife. She's not happy.
Not pleased.
I was driving this. Ryan was way more done than he said he was.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Josh was like,
really
oh,
done.
we should.
And it was only the romantic idea that was driving me.
Yeah.
That's why I say it, because I wasn't that bothered about doing the actual session. I was
Yeah.
just thinking, no, this could be amazing.
This could be a cool
we
story.
don't get a lot of
This is
Josh's
cool story.
time. Like,
Yeah,
and
we're
this
like-
could be a cool story.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, Ryan, come
So
on.
we
And Ryan
Uber
was
to
like,
my
"Okay, cool."
house. I wake up my wife. I have to try and convince her to give me the spare keys to the car. We then go to Josh's house, pick up his car, drive back to town, drive back to the Message in Sharston,
Wow.
Open up
and
the studio.
open the studio at 2 or
Yeah, it was 2.
1.
It was
It
like,
was like 1:45,
Amazing.
1:50, something like that. It was almost 2:00.
But
We
after all that, we got the energy.
We start 2. We play Rollie to Grimmett, and he's like listening to it, and he too has the Josh face of like, it's not quite clicking for
Right.
me right now, and we're both like,
Uh-oh.
what's wrong
We thought it was
here? It's
good.
great. And then he was like, oh, I just think it doesn't sound open.
Yeah, he had
like-
a light switch on moment,
I was like,
and
open?
he went straight
What
for
the
the
heck are you talking about? Open?
He went straight for the pitch up, and I was like,
Yeah,
pitching up the whole track. And I was like, oh, we can't do this because we've already pitched up the vocal.
yeah.
So as soon as we pitch up the whole track, like, we'll lose the chorus.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, that's the best part
Well, the
right now.
song, yeah.
And we both like listen to every idea we come up with a lot
Yeah.
and verge on the point of dermatitis. And so it's like,
I love this. Don't
that's
mess
so
with this.
hard.
but
yeah.
then he pitched it up and it sounded brilliant.
He played about 4 songs that were on the radio. He played like a Sway Lee song. He played a Post Malone song. He played 2 other rap songs that I can't remember what they were. And when he played them, he was like, listen to how open they sound. And I'd
Yeah.
never listened to music that
Wow.
closely, especially that type of music. I was never listening to like, oh, wow. And he was like, yeah, like sometimes when you do your stuff, you sound a little bit closed, like, yeah. Like, catch me outside. How about that? And he's like, yeah, I can hear your like throat closing in. And he was like, what if it was more like, catch me outside? How about that? Like really opening up.
Wow.
And then trying to get that with a melody was like hard for me. I was like literally like, I don't get it. So he pitched it up,
But he kept pushing you.
and he kept pushing me about 3 times.
You
was
were
even-
almost shouting.
He was even like standing like right now.
Yeah.
He's like standing next to me to try and make me feel like you're doing it. It's cool.
Josh went to the laptop and put some processing on the
yeah.
vocal.
It basically
played
put
it
like
back,
a
and we were
compressor in a
both like-
thing, and it was like,
Oh.
and he kept changing his stuff, and then was like, oh, this should just be like a cool thing at the start, like some cool thing. And that was all somebody's like, make me a Skrillex beat. You're like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, like a Skrillex beat.
Make it cooler.
Like, make it cool.
Define cool.
Yeah.
You were talking to him about your drama.
Drama.
You were talking because you had an idea after your verse to go, drummer, 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 like a Missy
Oh
Elliott
yeah, that
type
was the
thing.
that was the
Okay.
It was like a Missy Elliott type thing, and you had
NCT Teenage Melodrama.
the original idea after
So I think
Ryan's
I was
rap.
saying at the start, I was like, drummer, or
Yeah.
like I was saying something like that, and he was like, yeah, something like
I
that.
mean, you know exactly what song it is
Yeah,
from the second
Yeah.
moment one.
and that's
like,
what he
it's-
wanted.
Drummer! He did it, I think,
Yeah.
because he's got such a soft tone. He did that, and all of a sudden I was like, damn.
Then
Okay.
it really started to come together.
We basically did
No
that
way.
within 45 minutes, and he was
In the middle of the night.
He was
Yeah,
like,
and I totally checked out after about an hour.
so he goes, we basically write the whole rest of the song. Josh writes his verse
My right.
in another studio in
Yeah.
Partington. We've got it.
And then we went to London.
We went to
finish the
London
rest.
to finish it up,
Nice.
And that's where we got the so dramatic
and he was like,
at his session.
because we used to have a pre before, or it was like an outro, and he was like, we're missing this. Like, we need something like this
I think
again.
we still had angsty teenage melodrama.
Then we did So Dramatic.
I've never even heard that bit.
What?
The angsty teenage melodrama.
I'm sure I've played it for you.
teenage melodrama.
I like it. It sounds funny now, but I've never.
Did he text you the So Dramatic thing? Did he send you the video?
Somebody said, yeah, one of you
I
said.
posted it
One
on.
of you posted it. Yeah, posted it on
I
Instagram,
posted it
right?
on the
And
story.
you were like,
the
ooh,
story, yeah.
I like.
Well, at
I like
first you
this.
were like, so dramatic. It's a funny video.
I loved it because it's kind of like a caricature of yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
It's
I-
like the
I
Adam
lo-
Sandler and me.
Yeah.
And then we had
Then
Josh did the
Josh was like,
rolling,
we need
rolling,
a middle eight, and
Yeah.
he like just put headphones on and got up to the thing. It was just
We
like
just recorded it.
rolling.
And we were like, that's amazing.
Oh, this is cool. And still to this day,
Proper Limp Biscuit. I
it's-
loved it.
it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite crowd moments where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the easiest thing in any country for anybody to get.
And that's him singing on the actual record.
Yeah,
We didn't redo it because he
we
just
didn't
sounded
change
so
it.
good.
It was right. Yeah, so that's the process, the A to B of Rollie. It was 3 or 4 studios, a bedroom, the airport, lost my keys to a key change to
Wow.
song done. So lyrics. Yeah, my verse is basically just a like a who's who of my musical influences growing up. I was just trying to name drop every like why I do music, and I didn't name everything because it was just too hard. But I basically went through a list of Beastie Boys, Tribe Called Quest, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. I was trying to get like Lecrae and some of those guys in, but I was like, nobody will know.
No one will know.
And no one will know who
Which is a shame.
DC Talk are or
Yeah.
Switchfoot.
Oh man.
People should know.
Switchfoot, innit?
should know.
Switchfoot could have been a cool
Oh,
one.
I remember we had a 5-minute standoff in the car about whether it's la da 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 or na 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 na.
Na 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 la di da di da. I remember that. Yeah.
On the DAW.
Did you?
On the DAW.
I don't
like,
know.
We were like trying to. Is it?
It's laddie
Me
daddy
and Ryan
da,
have quite traditional standoffs at whether something's massive or huge.
It's laddie
Yeah.
daddy da, isn't it?
It is. We googled it.
I always, for some reason, I was like, I'm sure it's
He was
na 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 na.
convinced.
I mean, when I'm convinced, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Even when I'm wrong,
Really?
it's fine.
And
Hi,
then
Joel.
this was the first track in a while where we had a Jesus reference because we didn't feel like it was necessarily like, oh, I have to say this for people to know that I'm a Christian. But I felt like I just listed all my musical heroes and the reason why I have the dream that I have, and the influence. And then it was like, oh, faith and music have always been my 2 greatest life influences, where it's like the 2 things my life has always been centered around was like, I did like so much church stuff throughout a week,
Yeah.
and then so much music stuff, like went to bed and listened to maybe like an hour or 2 hours of music with a cassette tape and roll it, and it was like, oh yeah. And I wanted to say it in a way that was like, oh my God, like if I didn't have music and God.
But I feel like it was for not the first time, but I feel like it was one of the times where I was like, because before when we made music, I felt like a lot of the time we were saying things and doing things that we felt like we should do. So it's not that we didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
We totally wanted to do it.
Mm.
But a lot of the time it was like, I feel like this is the right thing to do. And it's like, what does John Bellion say about watering down the worth? Like when you care too much about what people think of your art, you water down the worth.
Wow, yeah.
And it was like, I always felt a little bit like it was like a kind of thing of, this is what we should say. But that was one of the first times where you particularly did a Jesus line where I felt like that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It just feels like you've just given me like a real insight into your life.
It wasn't like
you went
Jesus
craning it in to tick
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
exactly,
like
yeah.
now that I'm a Christian, I have not had any influence of anything in any
Now
way.
Jesus is my only inspiration.
Yeah, Jesus is the blanket over all things, and I can't deviate from that. Which the way that I would see it is that I would just see it as one and the same. Like the music that I listened to when I was growing up, I know the content it can be questioned and critiqued of like, if you're living out that way, might not be the best for you.
Which you're not.
But
Which you're not.
which I'm not. But I'm
Yeah.
like, thank God for people like this who showed me a window into a world that does exist. And like, people are really in backgrounds that I'm not from, and they're telling me unfiltered truth. And like I don't have to go down certain paths to know
but it's
what
inspiring
it's like.
you. It's inspiring you to deliver
Yeah.
unfiltered truth
Yeah.
from your point of view.
Yeah.
And that's been changing people's lives.
Yeah.
So like, that's why you can say Snoop Dogg inspired me, and that be a really great thing, because it's like, just because maybe he does something that you don't agree with, it's like
I do stuff I don't agree with.
But the disagreement's in the lifestyle choice, though.
Yeah.
The disagreement doesn't have to be a verbal thing. This is what
Yeah.
I get think about all the time in culture. Like, why does everybody go with a verbal disagreement? I'm like, why do you feel the need to say to somebody like, I disagree with your lifestyle? And it's like, well, they probably know that you disagree with their lifestyle because you don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, and if you felt like it was damaging what they were doing, and you wanted to see positive change in their life to be more like what you're doing, the best way to do that would be to disagree with your life. Like, don't do it yourself and just love that person. Let them see that it's actually better for them to be more like you and to do that. But
yeah,
Steep.
yeah. That was my verse in a nutshell. I think Josh's always tends to be a bit more all the thoughts that are inside his head.
It was hard because I was writing my verse while we were promoting the tour, which I didn't feel like the
Busy.
tickets and stuff were going very well. And it was around the time where I felt like people were questioning our identity and our integrity and stuff like that.
What are they about?
Because of the name change and stuff
happened?
like like, and because we'd maybe like released some music that people weren't sure about and it gone in a different direction, I felt like I want to address this in my verse. I don't want to come across as like douchey or whatever, but at the same time,
Forget
like,
about y'all.
this is what I'm feeling, and because we're asking the question like, are you rolling with me?
Yeah.
I felt like, well, then that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like there's some people who aren't sure whether they're rolling with me.
Yeah.
Not even.
And I didn't want
it. There were people who.
Yeah.
We had literal messages off of people like
Saying I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah. And that's sad.
So that's why I went
That's
to the
sad.
like.
Yeah, I heard the verse the first time. It was like what was the I gotta roll, get on the road, even if nobody come to my show.
That's the
100%
tour
somebody
line.
calls me home.
That's the tour line.
I heard it. I was like, this is so
Yeah, you mean
funny.
it.
He's literally thinking.
I was thinking
Not
no
all
one's
the
gonna come
dates.
up. No one's
Certain
yeah.
dates of the tour. It was like,
No
I
one's gonna
know
come.
Finland's gonna be good. I know Manchester's gonna be good.
I know Stuttgart in Germany is going to be
Stuttgart's
good.
gonna be good.
But I don't know about London, Birmingham,
Yeah.
And Chemnitz.
and Chemnitz. And
And
I
it
was
was
like, oh no.
And those lines, I could hear it. It was like, even in nobody coming to my show, 100% till he calls me home. 10 years in the game, bet you didn't know.
It was
People
in-
hate.
That's okay. I know who I am and I know who I ain't.
Yeah.
So tell me, are you rolling
You've got like months of our conversations and like
in a?
and experiences in like one verse there,
Yeah.
like, which is impressive.
And
To
he
be
got
fair,
wordplay with, I ain't got a Rollie. Rolex,
Yeah.
But
but are you rolling?
I mean, old man comment. I was like, what
What's
is a
it?
Rollie?
What's
Did you
your-
actually?
I
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
think you had. I think you
Gosh,
had.
what is a Rollie?
It's a Rolex,
Because
Joel.
I was like, I was singing it. I ain't got a Rollie. I was like, what is a Rollie?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like a roll up, and I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah,
can't
yeah,
be
I
what you're
remember
saying.
I ain't got a
This definitely
Rollie.
can't
But
be what you're saying.
Well, I don't have one of those either.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
have you got
yeah.
a Rizla?
I
Have you got
just
any
was like,
rollers?
so yeah, so it was like I got a roll. Even that, like I've got to go,
Yeah.
like and get on the road.
And I love that.
Even if nobody comes, like I've got to do it because I'm
I've-
on a mission.
yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm not here to get a bunch of people to come.
Mm,
I'm on a mission to see people's
Mm.
lives changed.
mm.
And then like 100% till he calls me home. If you're an
Reference to-
old school 1224 fan, you'll know from Hurricane it was a line from there. And that was a little bit of like 10 years in the game, bet you didn't know. Like I've been doing this longer than you think. To question some of this stuff after I've been doing it for so long, to me was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like also I've always been on the vibe of
Yeah.
like I'm giving 100%
Mm.
for what it is.
Mm.
And then I was thinking about the tour and all that kind of stuff. And then I know who I am and I know who I ain't. That's more my resolve. That's not really like my comeback to people questioning me
It's
or
more of
us.
like a self.
It's more like I know who I am
Yeah.
and I know who I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I can respond to certain things if I feel like there's a need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my resolve is more like, I know I'm not that, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, you could waste so much time
Oh,
trying
bro.
to prove
we do.
things to people.
We do. We do.
I have.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I've spent many a year.
Oh
We
man,
do.
yeah, I know. I mean, me too. I'm not,
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you.
That's the
It's
natural
we all
human
do.
it's a
thing.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's any lyrics that.
No, well,
Stuck
I
out to you?
already talked about it, but the "Catch Me Outside" thing
Yeah.
really made me laugh because of where it came from in the
Yeah.
original like YouTube
Yeah.
video. This girl in
Cash me outside.
yeah,
How about that?
it was just a funny moment, and I just like that you kind of grabbed it because it
That used to be us. Like, catch me outside. How about that? With a pocket full of dreams and a handful of raps. It was like
Mhm.
at schools where it was like when we used to do schools 10 years ago.
Have you got any bars, bro?
Yo, bro,
In the
I've got my
corridor.
Nokia, and they'd bring out the
They
Pingu,
play
play a Pingu
play a
rhythm,
beat to you on their phone.
and you'd have to spit a bar,
And it's do or die. at that
and it
point.
was
Yeah.
like,
Even
yeah,
in prisons, we were doing that,
Yeah.
and we work in prisons as well. Like I did back in the day a lot as
it
well.
was like spit your bars, and it's
And
like,
they're-
oh, catch
yeah.
me outside
Yeah.
with a handful of raps,
yeah,
and
that's cool. I never
yeah.
thought from that,
Yeah.
that point of view.
Mate, we used to get in trouble. Like I remember one time in one school,
we,
I started rapping outside in the playground, and this horde of like, I'm not even exaggerating, 300 kids. I mean, you're in a school playground. There is
Yeah,
like
They're all
1,000
there.
kids.
Yeah.
Like 300 kids came rushing around.
teachers thought a
and
fight.
Teachers, yeah, because it was like two people
Ah.
in a circle because I was rapping to this
And you
kid.
got all the hype thing going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's like, ah. And it was like, it was like those type of kids who like understand rap as well, because it was in like a proper part of Manchester where they're really listening to raps. And the teachers came running in and they told us off.
with
and like,
batons,
yeah.
ready to go.
nah, they just came in like, what are you doing? No, you
Shut it
can't do
down.
this. And
Yeah.
they shut us down. But
So
it
we
was,
weren't allowed to go around.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's the memory though.
Right, for the record, any parting words on this song before we anything left to say? No,
No,
that's right.